Hello.
And welcome to Film Bastards.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 487 of Film Bastards. My name's Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by...
Becky Foster, hello everybody.
And Matt Foster, hello everybody.
Hello, one and all. It's Sunday morning, and I just opened a bottle of Heineken. So it's Sunday morning. We're schedules just kind of all over the shop at the moment, but we've made it work, and we've got a pretty dang full show.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, quite. No, I mean, like, I think we all, considering like all the main reviews, like we were only able to see them from Friday, we've done well. So we've all seen Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Yep.
We've all seen Tetris.
Yep.
And I think Mark and I have seen Murder Mystery 2.
You've seen it as well, haven't you, Max?
Yeah, I watched it too.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
We watched that separately, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. I finished at 6 one evening, and then Mark finished at 9, so I stayed at work and watched it in the office.
Nice. I'm surprised, and it sounds like you are really happy with your choice. So yeah, no, we've got a full-on triple banger then, brilliant. Also have some what we've been watching, trailers, all that kind of good stuff. Patreon.com/filmbastards. We're on a kind of a little bit of hiatus from the marathons right now. I think we probably just need to firm up exactly what we're doing, and maybe we'll announce next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds good.
We're going to try and do something to sort of to give patrons something within the next couple of weeks, but marathons have had to take a bit of a back seat just because life has kind of got a little bit complicated for us.
We're all busy at the moment, like pretty fucking busy. So it's
I'm not busy.
Oh, you do something for the patrons then, Bex.
There you go. Well volunteered.
I could do a live, like, instead of a live commentary, I'll do a live, like, book reading. Just me quietly turning pages every few seconds. That would be compelling. And then going, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, live commentary of you reading a book would be good.
It'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, look, we'll figure something out. But if you're not already a patron, $2 a month and like hundreds of hours of content.
Yeah.
At this point, I reckon.
A highlight being us genuinely having like 4 weeks of regret deep within COVID, I think it was, of deciding to do the Hellraiser movies as kind of a joke.
When was... No, that was 2020... Yes, that was 2021, so it was kind of like COVID was defo still around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the Hellraisers somehow... I did all the Bond films over the course of like 3 years, because I kept on having to delay it when No Time to Die was getting delayed, and then literally finished it the day before No Time to Die came out. Timing. We've done Scream, we've done Guy Ritchie, we've just finished up Bong Joon-ho, Baz Luhrmann, Michael Mann, yeah. So just... There's a lot of content. It's patreon.com/filmbastards. And also, please do subscribe and listen to like-minded shows like Chin Stroker versus Punter and Entertainment Landfill. Other shows of the Pod Syndicate family have gone by the wayside. Oh, the Rewatch project is still ongoing, obviously. So we all represent the cockroaches of the podcast industry.
We will not fucking die.
Yeah, we live on. We live on. So, let's get into some movie news. I'm gonna start with and I think this is a little bit old, but I don't think we've covered it. So Adam McKay's got a new film in the works, and it sounds really, really weird. So I just want to find what it's called. I think it's called Average Build, Average Height, or something like that. And it's about a serial killer who gets into politics to try and make the laws bend in order to make his killing easier.
Which seems like it just could happen.
I mean, it is an incredible premise. And God, I just want to make sure that I haven't actually dreamed this. Yeah, no, I haven't. Okay, so I'm just pulling this up now. Average height, average build. The cast: Robert Downey Jr., Robert Pattinson, Amy Adams, Forrest Whitaker, Danielle Deadwyler. Hell of a cast.
Yep.
And I mean, you know, Don't Look Up. I think in my mind's eye, we all broadly liked Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. So McKay had been saying that he was writing a script that tackled big dirty money. And yeah, I could see that being this. Yeah, a killer using political lobbyists to help make his murders easier.
Oh, he loves this type of shit now. He's very much in his groove of these type of movies. I'm hoping it's a little bit less scattergun than the past couple he's had.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it,
but they've all seemed a little bit too heavily leaned towards satire.
Yeah, look, I mean, Vice was the low point for me personally. That was fully just head up his arse. Don't Look Up had a sincerity to it in moments. You know, like, I think the worst moments of Don't Look Up were when it just got fucking, like, just stupid. You know, like, I think at the kind of, like, the scene towards the end of Don't Look Up with DiCaprio and Lawrence and all those people around the table, and it was just like, you know, look what we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, and that stuff was just very, very sweet. This sounds like it's going to be going for the jugular. But I mean, that's a good cast. I mean, like, so what? Robert Pattinson going to be the killer? Robert Downey Jr. going to be like the lobbyist or something? Are we thinking?
It sounds more like that, doesn't it?
It'll be an interesting one. So we don't know whether it's going to streaming or what yet, but yeah, good on him. Well, I assume that'll be like filming this year, out next year. So yeah, cool. Okay, Killers of the Flower Moon is going to be playing Cannes, is coming out in October in cinemas and getting a theatrical release before going on Apple, and is apparently nearly 4 hours long.
Which of course it's nearly 4 hours long.
I want Marty to take all the time he wants to take.
Yep.
But
the thing is,
yeah,
I'm very much at this point where there's every new Scorsese movie, because they only happen like every 3 years, it is getting closer to being his last, and I think Scorsese knows that. He is one who said that he will keep going until he can go no more. But even he must know, do you know what, though? This might be the last one I do. It might be the last one I do with any of this collaborative team. It's why he's brought back. Why now he said he only wants to work with the people that he really has loved working with throughout his career. It's why De Niro's back for them all. It's why DiCaprio is going to be in everything he does now. And that, you know, that's it. And he's added Jesse Plemons to that list of people now as well. But
Meth Damon.
Yeah. But if he wants to churn out 4 hours, then I am more fine with watching 4 hours of what Scorsese is doing with Killers of the Flower Moon than I am with Ari Aster's Uncanny Valley fucking 3 hour movie.
So that was exactly the comparison I was thinking, Mark. And it's like I genuinely don't know whether I'm going to watch Beau is Afraid. Even if people say it's fucking brilliant and whatnot, it's just like, yeah, but if you also said Hereditary and Midsummer were brilliant, then I don't think I'm going to trust your opinion. And it's interesting. I was listening to Blank Check this morning, walking the dog, and I didn't think the embargo on it had dropped yet, but David Sims, who writes for The Atlantic on there, said that he's seen Beau is Afraid, and it is just the most blank check film. It's basically him saying to A24, I made you 2 hits, get the fuck out of my way. And considering what Hereditary and Midsummer are, the fact that Beau is Afraid is get the fuck out of my way is something. And it's not a horror film at all, apparently. I get real strong Charlie Kaufman vibes from it, which I think is what is turning me off specifically.
Yeah, I get that as well. It looks like, to me, a little bit like if Charlie Kaufman tried to remake Big Fish.
Yeah, fucking very direct. I mean, Bex, 4 hours of Killers of the Flower Moon. How does that make you feel?
I'm in, yeah.
Yeah?
Great cast. I like Martin Scorsese for the most part. So, yeah, I'm good.
And how does 3 hours of Beau is Afraid make you feel?
I would rather never watch an Ari Aster film again in my life, so...
Well, you know, now that we've got our... Not all 3 of us have to review a film. I'm looking forward to Mark's solo review of Beau is Afraid.
Yeah. Me coming out and going, it's alright.
It's a fucking great comedy.
Do you know what? I don't think he was that scared.
No, Hereditary and Midsummer are bullshit, so...
I don't think he's that scared. Oh God, sorry, that's good. That should just be your one-line review, and then you don't say anything else for the entire thing. I don't think he was that scared. Touching cloth. No, I mean, like Jord said, he's going to come on low, and like if Jord comes on for it, then I'll make that sacrifice, I think. So yeah. But hey, long movies. I'm all for long movies. Just make it worth it.
Yeah. That's it. You know, Scorsese has kind of for like near on 50 years. Well, actually over 50 years of great filming. I think it's about time we kind of went, all right, do you know what?
Yeah, Scorsese's got cash in the bank, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He can put people through a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, and I think actually the next sort of like over the next sort of 6 months up until it, I'm gonna do like a bit of a soft Scorsese rewatch.
Oh, I'm in for that.
Like I've rewatched a Scorsese this week, and yeah, I'm gonna try and fit in things like Silence and bits like that. The bits that I've not watched.
I rewatched the Scorsese this week.
What did you rewatch? We'll find out later on.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Huh.
What's
I don't know if it was the same one.
Foster.
I'll show you.
I said, I'm gonna fucking watch that with you.
Well, you can watch it one night this week.
No, I'll be gaming.
Okay, so any other news, or should we go to trailers?
Let's get to trailers. There's actually been a couple this week, hasn't there?
Yes, there has. Pixar are doing their thing again with Elemental. It's Inside Out.
Yeah.
Or Soul, but this time they're elements.
Yeah, just...
It's what the fuck? Like, what? Why are these Pixar? Why are these films just the same kind of plot?
Yeah, and it's just a little bit
so
like...
weird.
It's a little bit like the person who's designing them and doing the original designs to kind of pitch to it has only got access to one fucking colour palette.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Are we going for like the iridescent colours again? Yeah, it looks great. Look, because they're elements. Like, can we not just have like a flat colour for anything anymore? It's almost like Pixar haven't quite realised that not everything has to translate to what a toy will look like.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that does, because it's getting a theatrical release. You know, like now Bob Chapek's gone. Like I think, you know, getting theatrical releases for Pixar films seems to be the thing. But man, oh man, have they got to be careful here? Like, because yes, okay, it's an original film, but it's kind of original in quote marks. Like looking at this trailer,
there is an element of are you just remaking your own movie but just replacing? It's almost a little bit Roger Corman-y.
Sure, yeah. So there's that. I'm pretty sure you two didn't see the trailer for Trolls Band Together.
No, is that another Trolls movie?
Yep.
Wow, I think I've seen the other Trolls movies.
You have?
I'm sure I have, yeah.
I think we might have reviewed Trolls World Tour because it came out right around when COVID started.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I am very, very meh on this, but I know I'll have to take Lottie to see it. I like the first Trolls. I think it's got imagination for days in the visuals. Trolls World Tour was genuinely disappointing. This
Trolls
just
World
kind of
Tour
looks
was
like
the one where basically they pitched it that rock music or metal music was evil, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. And you need to stop doing rock and do some generic pop instead to be happy.
Yeah. It was offensive.
Yeah. So this time, Justin Timberlake's brother comes into it. Him and the Anna Kendrick one are getting married, and then his brother comes into it, and then is like, "Stop the wedding," because I don't know why. And it turns out that they used to be part of a boy band. So I think there's going to be quite a lot of boy band nostalgia in this one, which is going to go great with 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think it comes out around like Thanksgiving. So yeah. New Wes Anderson. I mean, I'll talk about it. Like it's the most Wes. It feels like really derivative to say now, but it is the most Wes Anderson thing Wes Anderson ever Wes Andersoned. And you know, I'm looking forward to it. I like his stuff. I'm not expecting you two to go see it. There you go.
I will go and see it.
Can I just clarify? I generally like Wes Anderson. Don't
do,
lump me in with Mark, but this made my fucking teeth itch.
What I will say about it is I like the fact that it's very much like it looks like it's all going to be set in daylight. I quite like that. I think too many movies are set at night. I like a daylight movie.
How is he going to show off his pastel colour palette if he doesn't do it in daylight?
What I will say though is this trailer barely looks like a film. It just looks like a selection of what are those things called? Dioramas.
Vignettes.
Just a selection of dioramas that can move constantly. It is pick this up, put that there. Pick this up, put that there. Look at the pretty pictures I can create. And people sounding smart.
I will agree with people though. Jason Schwartzman looking hot.
He does actually. Fair play to him.
That's a good look on Jason Schwartzman. The full beard.
Yeah, he's always looked like a man who could carry a full beard.
It is working for him. Fair play.
Yeah. The thing is, I will go and see it. I really like the poster. I didn't hate the trailer. I just don't think. I was watching it going, do you know what? Yeah, if this is what his fans want and this is what his fans love, then fucking why not?
So.
Well, yeah, he knows his strengths for sure.
We'll talk about this closer to the time, but and if this comes out the same day in the US as the UK, this comes out on Springsteen Day, which is the same day as The Flash. Oof. So, like, what do we do? Because I feel like Springsteen Day is just going to be drinking. And especially if, like, then we get it to the Villa Park, and then it's going to be hell to get drinks, and they're going to cost a fortune. But then do we do something on the Saturday and try and do some recording on the Saturday? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll definitely work that out, but we'll work something out for sure.
We'll pick it up because obviously my boy Paul's coming as well, and I think he would probably be up for recording. He has opinions and listens to the show. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So I'm kind of telling Paul that he's coming on the show. So, do we have any others this week, guys?
Master Gardener, the new pod trader. Yeah. That motherfucker is in the zone at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, what's it about?
It appears like it's about a gang hitman that I'm guessing is related to some kind of white nationalist party who has now left them, but gets dragged back into it to go after them again. It's Schrader doing what Schrader does.
You Schrader him.
He's very much Schradering, but he kind of seems like he's in the zone. And again, you've got a lot of people looking at going, yeah, do you know what? I want to work with not only the guy who wrote Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, but I also want to work with the guy who just made First Reformed and The Card Counter.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm very much hoping it's going to be a lean, and Schrader can do lean when he wants.
Card Counter was pretty short, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was only about 100 minutes.
Yeah.
So Master.
There's 1 hour 47 on IMDb.
Yeah, that's about fine for that film.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Hour 40 before credits. Cool.
Yep. Oh, the other one, last one. We saw the trailer for Into the Spider-Verse, didn't we? At the cinema. It's the first time I've seen it at the cinema.
Seizure-inducing trailer for Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that film looks fucking busy to the extreme. And I was a little bit like watching going, if this is 2 hours of this, I'm not sure.
I am worried, but I think there's going to be a lot of focus on the relationship between Miles and Gwen, and that's what I want. They need to focus it on that.
Yeah.
I want those two to be happy together, and like if they.
First one, you know.
Yeah, you haven't made it for the first one, have you?
No,
really?
No, it's boring.
Boring. Wow. That's a take. Good stuff.
Do you know what? I maybe watched it in the wrong frame of mind. I'm gonna give it another go. It's just I've not made it back to it yet. I have to restart it.
I'd restart. We didn't watch when we're tired.
Yeah.
Comes out in early June.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Friday that we're in France. So yeah, that's the first Friday of June. So yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk some Dungeons and Dragons. Do we want to talk about that? Actually, I'm going to change my mind on that. Let's talk Tetris. Tetris is directed by John S. Baird, Bardy Bairdy Bood. And stars Taron Egerton, Toby Jones, Rick Yoon. Always fun to see Rick Yoon credited as bank manager. The bad guy from Tomorrow Never Dies, barely looking any older, like 25 years on. I mean, Die Another Day. No. Yeah, Die Another Day. He's the guy who gets the diamonds in his face. Yeah. Yep. So 20 years after. Roger Allam, Nikita Efremov, and plenty of others. Sorry, that was chaotic. So, it's just the IMDb order's really weird. So, the story of how one of the world's most popular video games found its way to players around the globe. Businessman Henk Rogers and Tetris inventor Alexei Pachinov joined forces in the USSR, risking it all to bring Tetris to the masses. when the word came out that this was being made, it sounded like a joke. But what you have here is a film called Tetris, which isn't in the world of Tetris. It's about the business deals that gave Nintendo the rights to putting Tetris on the Game Boy.
Yep.
Which is thrilling sounding. Now, Bex, obviously, out of the three of us, you are the most gamey person. Did you ever need to know how the business deal behind Tetris was done? And if you did or didn't, are you now glad that you do know how it was done?
Yeah, I mean, it's very dry sounding material for sure, but it's actually kind of like, with all the Russia stuff, it's kind of like, it's quite exciting when you actually watch it. Well, exciting is probably the wrong word. Twisty, like dangerous. It's a much more interesting story than I anticipated. It's. When the news of it first came out, and even when the first trailer came out, it was a bit like, really, they've made a film about that. But yeah, it's more interesting than it probably should be. It's more interesting as a film than it probably was in real life.
Well, yeah, the real guys have kind of come out and said that they read the script and kind of like suggested bits to change, but have also said. But also, we're very aware of the fact that a lot of this just didn't happen. You know, it is a movie, and that's cool.
Yeah, I think they were quoted as saying it's true to the spirit of what happened.
Yeah, but it's like saying there's a car chase in it. That just didn't happen, but you know, okay, it's a movie.
Because that's it, isn't it? They've basically gone, right, here are the bare bones of it all. And I believe that the USSR had some dodgy shit going on and were exerting pressure and Mirasoft and all that kind of... I believe the bare bones. But the amount of bollocks that is obviously in this to make it a movie, I'm not against.
No.
But it like, sorry, and I know I'm doing this in a weird order, but by the time that there was a car chase... it was just like, what's the next plane out of here? Right, we're just gonna buy the tickets and immediately get on the plane. And maybe it was like that back in the 80s. I don't know, but it just like there was so much in this film that took me out of it because it was like every single conversation that happened, I was just like, that conversation did not happen.
Do you know what's wild, Ian?
Mm.
Back in the olden days, you used to be able to get on a plane without having to decant all your toiletries into separate tiny bottles.
But I mean, it's like, I genuinely used to go to like Spain every year and whatnot because my parents hate me. But I've blocked it all out. I appear to have blocked out all flights that I have taken until I got with Donna. And that was post 9/11. I genuinely cannot remember the airport or airplane experience before that time.
Yeah, I can really.
I can. It was a lot more fucking chill. But you did have to get there a lot earlier than you do now. Like, now you can literally check in online and rock up about 10 minutes before your flight's due aboard, can't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas I think back in the day you used to have to get there at least 2 hours before.
At least 2 hours before, yeah.
But yeah, it was weird, like smoking in the airport. That was
smoking on a plane.
Yeah, well, yeah, smoking areas in the plane and stuff. Yeah,
he's wild now. The idea of it.
I mean, it does, and I don't want to like scare you guys or anything, because I know you're about to go on your first like abroad holiday since I've known you two. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
Like, planes still have those, like, smoking, no smoking kind of, like, indicators on, because planes are old.
Yeah, I think everyone seems to think that, like, planes are, like, 2-3 years old, and some of them are, like, 30 years old.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's... and don't get me wrong, I touch wood, I feel safe as fuck on planes. Like, it just... It's just the whole... they know how much they'd have to pay out if there was ever any like crashes and whatnot. So they are so rare that I'm just like, okay, it's safer than being in a car.
Yeah.
That took me out of it. And also, I said to you guys already, and I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of it. Actually, now you've seen it, how do you do fellow kidsness of the way that it depicts video game imagery and that one analogy about Super Mario and the piranha plant? Just what the fuck?
Yeah, it did feel a little bit. But then again, that could have just been him talking Nintendo to a Nintendo guy trying to kind of, you know,
I don't know. You're talking to the head.
Obsessive.
You're trying to convince the head of Nintendo to give you a chance by saying, like, you know, it's like Super Mario and the piranha plant. You know, it's I don't know. Like, I had a meeting with someone from Microsoft last week, and I wasn't going like, you know, it's like I'm the Master Chief and you're one of the Covenant, and you know, it's you don't fucking do that. I don't know, bullshit. I don't know. Maybe it's literally because I've been involved in a fucking sales pitch with a software company literally in the last week that actually. Yeah. Anyway, Mark, what do you think of the film?
It's a little bit too long. This movie should be under 100 minutes. It spends a little bit too much time just kind of repeating itself with the same bits, which I get is what it's trying to do. It's trying to prove the over-heightened bureaucracy and nonsense of the Soviet state, but you know, and as well to highlight that particular moment, the fact that it was during it was all collapsing, and so everybody was just trying to do what was kind of get their way out of it, make the last little bit of bank before it all fell apart. But there was an awful lot of the same scene just being replayed. And so it did feel a little like that. I like the kind of almost, it never quite descends into full-blown ridiculous, but it does teeter very much on the edge of it.
Mate.
Yeah, it gets really, really close, but it never hits the point of where I felt like we were getting towards Funny or Die SNL.
Never quite descends into farce, does it?
Yeah, it never quite goes to farce, but I think you're very aware that you are watching a complete Hollywoodized version of a story.
I think one of its main problems for me is the cast all seem to think they're in slightly different films. Like, you've got Toby Jones doing just honestly the worst performance of his I've ever seen.
Right. Can I just check for a second with the Toby Jones bit? It's Toby Jones specific. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he has become one of those British actors that people have decided they think he's great because he's British and he's a character actor, so therefore, well, he must be good because he's been in all these movies. I don't think he's actually that good. A little bit like somebody like Richard E. Grant. Richard E. Grant's not a good actor, but he's not a very good actor.
He's very good at being Richard E. Grant.
But he's not a very good actor because sometimes he's Richard E. Grant in stuff where he doesn't need to be Richard E. Grant.
Like Idris Elba.
Yeah, but not that Richard Elba just sees himself as a movie star. But Toby Jones, often people will say about Toby Jones, "Oh, he's not that great in this," and usually he's pretty good. But it's like, no, if you look at his entire career, is he usually that good, or has he been really good in 3 or 4 things? Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, probably the weakest performance I've ever seen Toby Jones turn in with that fucking awful accent that he was doing throughout. So he seems to think he's in like some kind of parody, as do the British baddies.
No, Robert Maxwell and Ken Maxwell are just like that.
Why are we always cunts in stuff, British people? Like, at the moment, we're always the dickheads.
I mean, Robert Maxwell was a pretty special cunt.
Yeah, he was a pretty extreme cunt. And the thing is, that's probably tame for Robert Maxwell.
But then, like, Taron Egerton, he seems to be taking things pretty seriously, as do all the sort of the Japanese side of the film.
But I think what that's doing, what Baird's doing there is he's basically saying, look, these are the serious kind of business guys that are having to deal with the ridiculousness of all this lot, where they're just trying to get a deal done and they're trying to kind of be fair.
I thought the Russian side of stuff was done really quite well, to be honest. With that teetered the line very well between, you know, when they're sort of going between the different rooms. Yeah. That could have easily got really stupid, but it just keeps it on the right side of yeah, do you know what? I could see this being something that would happen.
Yeah.
That Sasha bitch, she can fucking choke. You know, snake. What an absolute snake.
But I don't know, but it's interesting though, because it's like, it's not necessarily painting out like all the Russians to be bad guys, because obviously like Alexei and whatnot, and it's. I thought it was quite an interesting. I kind of wish the film dug into it a little deeper. Actually, the whole, you know, communism's not great, but capitalism isn't great either, and that whole thing that you say at the end about like, is it a good thing or a bad thing that like you know, they're letting capitalism in and whatnot, and it's like, I don't know. I think, you know, that's an interesting point, but the film's not really about that, so I get it. But I thought that whole Russian thing, and just kind of like the whole, he created it, but then it kind of basically becomes property of the Russian state and all that. I thought that was interesting and also quite timely, because it does kind of feel like Russia's just going back to that.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. That's the bit. It was like I was sounding like I was pretty down on the film. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's not. I don't know. It just does walk that line of almost becoming a bit funny or die, like you say, Mark, for like a good portion of the runtime, and it just. Is it goofy? Is it serious? It's a little bit of both, and just like the car chase, and actually like the scene transitions.
When the car kept turning into a little like 8-bit car.
Okay,
stuff, I love that.
You see that I'm so, like I you know, this is obviously subjective, but I thought that and all like the scene transitions where it's all 8-bit and then it turns into real. It did just feel like, okay, like you've seen the video game aesthetic, but I don't necessarily think that you actually like Tetris, even though maybe this is coming from the fact that I play quite a bit of Tetris Effect on the PlayStation because it chills me out. I like Tetris Effect is really, really good if you've not played it. And it's just very chill, and it's got great vibes, and that thing in VR is like, you know, because there is like a VR mode for it, because it's like the imagery around it's like pulsating, and it kind of moves to the rhythm of the music, and like as you're getting like higher scores and whatnot, the music evolves, and it's like this really weird audio visual experience, but then just playing Tetris. It's honestly, it's something. And you know, like the whole Tetris company thing, I think is interesting as well. Like they say at the end that the two formed the Tetris company, and you know, they've just gone on and kind of expanded out, and they're doing all this weird stuff. And it's like his daughter Maya is an executive producer on the film, and just the way that this game captured imaginations. To be fair, I don't think the film really plays on that too much either. Like, you get Hank early on saying, like, you can see the blocks falling, like, when he closes his eyes or when he sleeps or whatever. But I don't think the film really captures what made Tetris special. And God, that sounds so fucking stupid, even loads of words coming out of my mouth. But, like, I don't think the film does a very good sell on why Tetris is as kind of captivating as it is. So I
it's
have problems with the film.
It's kind of not. I don't think it's that interested in Tetris really.
No, and I no, I get it. It just when all of this is happening over Tetris, it's like it's basically the film going. You remember Tetris, yeah? You know it was a hit, yeah. All right, here we go. But I wouldn't expect anyone in their 20s or younger to know what the fuck. It's like, why was this such a hit?
Why? So you say you play Tetris. What's the appeal? Because I've never got on with Tetris.
It is satisfying as fuck.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it is. But that's it's the feedback loop. Like, that fucking drip of dopamine when you, like, get a thought. And especially in Tetris Effect, because, like, the visuals and the audio are so, like, oh, you did a good thing there. It is... I just find it I find it compelling, and just like finding the way of getting the 4 lines in a row and kind of like setting things up so then you can do that again quickly, and like it's
the fucking up and knowing that you've got to rectify your own fuck up later on.
Yeah, I just
sorry guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in the chat. I'm just gonna put some footage of Tetris Effect in. Like, honestly, it's so fucking good. But yeah.
I just find it really infuriating when all the blocks get to the fucking top of the screen and then you're dead.
Oh, it's great.
I quite enjoy Tetris, but Tetris is one of those games where I think I could easily play for 5 minutes. It's actually 2 hours.
Not much of a plot, is there?
I don't care. But Taron Egerton's very good in it.
I thought the Alexi guy was really good in it. I love their little bromance situation that was going on there.
Yeah.
Could done with more of that.
Yeah.
Have another scene of them going out to a bar and drinking.
Do you know what?
That was ace.
Do you know what? I'd actually watch a sequel that is just, right, this is how we formed the Tetris company.
Hell yeah.
I'd watch that. Just like a 90-minute movie of them just in San Francisco, just him assimilating to not being in Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
And
bit of a fish out of water.
A fish out of water story about them forming the Tetris company. And then fucking Hank Rogers going off and forming his clean energy companies and shit like that. Like turning Hawaii into a sustainable state.
Was that thing?
Yeah.
Right. I've sent you the link. Sorry, because listeners, it's going to be no good whatsoever. Just go to about 2.5 minutes into this and just look at how kind of like intense the visuals and the music is.
All right. We've got an advert for train journeys right now.
Fuck you, LNER.
Ooh, LNER will give me £5 off my next journey if I sign up to their app now.
Pretty good.
Off your next journey, that'll
So-
probably cost you about £500.
So this is the first level of Tetris Effect, and
sorry, it's got 2.5 minutes in.
about 2.5 minutes in, it's like it's all popping off.
That was the most obnoxious NatWest advert I've ever seen.
Right, and 2.5 minutes in. So this is what the VR looks like.
So this is
That's a
the
whale.
2D version, but then the VR, it's like all like the blue, all the shit that's coming out at you is like really coming out at you.
It's kind of bonkers though that Tetris, this game that was free, with like and was synonymous with the Game Boy, is still going now and still doing like different innovative shit. It's kind of cool.
And then go, and just last thing, go to about 6 minutes in, and then this is like then when it gets a bit more intense. But then you see like the kind of the light in the background is kind of like pulsing with the music, and the music's more intense, and it's kind of matching the speed that the blocks are going down. And it's just this like fucking mad, like even in 2D, you just get yourself locked in, and it's very, very compelling. But in VR, it is like magic.
Oh yeah, I mean, whoever's playing that game just fucked up like 3 times.
Oh yeah, no, I mean they're shit.
Yeah, they've got that entire side down at one side, and they kept on just doing like the big sort of like 4 block ones in a line and not putting it down that far side, which is stressing me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it's like you said, the fact that it turned from this guy in the 80s, this guy who used basically like brackets to form the blocks on his shitty a PC with like 4 kilobytes of RAM, I think they say at one point, to this stuff. And this is like the Tetris company is still all well in it, and they're just. And the thing is, this wasn't actually made by the Tetris company. This was made by this Japanese guy's name I forget, who also made this PlayStation game Rez, which is also in VR. Like they remastered it for VR, and it's just this like audio visual fucking. Almost too much stimulus stuff, and like I just love the way that they're like, "Fuck it, you want to do that, you do that." Anyway, I really like Tetris, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, with the film, I'm definitely not shit. I think it's a good time. I enjoyed it. It's what it is. It's definitely not boring.
Which it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely not shit. I'll be honest, I was expecting more. The dude directed Filth. Filth is great. So I was expecting more, but still definitely not shit.
Yeah, Filth is fucking brilliant.
Is that the, what's it one?
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, yeah. Filth, which manages to be both one of the most like reprehensible movies but heartbreaking movies at the same fucking time.
And then ends with like a cartoon sequence. So Love Really Hurts Without You,
which just feels perfect. That genuinely, just lastly on Filth. I know it isn't the film, but just goes. But one of the few movies that I actually left during it to go for a pee because I was hating it that much. Like I utterly despised the first half. And then something happens as you're getting towards just over the halfway point where you go, oh, I was supposed to hate the first half. Right, very fucking clever. And then the second half just makes you go, yeah, the first half is perfect because of the second half.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I was literally clapping at the end of it. Yeah, people were looking at me strange, but I just stood up and just started clapping, just going, fucking bravo, that's fucking brilliant.
I'm so glad I wasn't with you. I'd have been so embarrassed.
It was fucking brilliant. I'm going to rewatch that soon, because what a picture.
What a picture.
So, let's get this out of the way, for Becky's sake. Murder Mystery 2. Directed by Jeremy Garlick and written by Zodiac screenwriter James Vanderbilt.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
James Vanderbilt's a weird character. It's like he went to the crossroads and they went, right, you can have one really good movie and then the rest.
But it's mad. It's like he's one of the creative forces behind the new Scream films as well.
Yeah.
Like he co-wrote both of them, and I think he produced and he like a really big thing on them. But Murder Mystery is also one of his franchises.
Yeah.
Stars Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, Mark Strong, John Carney, Melanie Laurent, Jodie Turner-Smith, Adil Akhtar, and also. The helicopter pilot played by a man called Carlos Ponce.
Yeah.
And
a cameo that happens where you go, was everybody else busy?
Gillian Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So, full-time detectives Nick and Audrey are struggling to get their private eye agency off the ground. They find themselves at the centre of international abduction when their friend, the Maharaja, is kidnapped at his own lavish wedding. Murder Mystery 2. So, Murder Mystery was a very, very pleasant surprise a few years back. I've watched it. I've watched it twice, both times on holiday. Felt appropriate, and Murder Mystery 2, Friday night after Dungeons and Dragons, came home, put this on, 90 minutes in and out. Becky, why did you watch it?
For this podcast.
But you don't have to watch everything now.
I didn't tell you didn't have to.
Well, do you know what? Because the first one was kind of a bit of a pleasant surprise, this was everything I feared that the first one would be.
Which I agree with you.
I was thinking after I'd watched it, you know how I enjoy likening movies to food and meals and stuff. Yeah, this movie's chewing gum.
I nearly spat out my beer on my MacBook there, Becky. Well done. Fuck.
It tricks you, right, with a promise of, because of the flavour, it tricks you with a promise of food, but then leaves you ultimately hungry and disappointed.
That is a really savage takedown of this movie.
Chewing gum.
So,
and it leaves a
Mark,
residue in your brain.
Mark, I feel like you'll be kinder to it.
I am kinder to it. It very much knows what it is. I get the feeling that it was right. We're going to do a Murder Mystery 2 because it was a hit for Netflix. It has probably consistently done well for Netflix. It's probably been in like their top 10 most watched movies since it landed on there. But they've gone. But also, we are cutting back a little bit the Sandman, so you can't have all of the people you normally have in things. So it did feel a little bit like that. I thoroughly believe that the Gillian Bell cameo, I think that was supposed to be Courtney Cox, but she was busy doing Scream or something like that. Because it felt like you were supposed to know who, not the person that was there, but the actress that was there, and it's like,
It did make me laugh because Donna was just like, "Is that Brittany runs a marathon?" Because every time she pops up, she just calls her Brittany runs a marathon,
which is fine. Which is probably that's
and it makes me laugh every time. I love my wife, and that's one of her funniest bits.
Yep.
And I don't think she knows it's a bit, but it's a bit.
but Jennifer Aniston's doing a lot of the heavy lifting with regards to comedy. I think it's easy for people to forget that Jennifer Aniston is a great comedian.
Because she's so hot.
Well, the movie definitely wants you to know.
The movie, yeah. Whoever wrote this movie has got a hell of a thing for Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Who could blame?
Yeah, I thoroughly believe now that Mark Strong literally, when his agent rings him and says, "Mark, got on," she goes, "How much is it paying?"
He was easily the best thing in this, though.
But he turns up, says, like, he is minimal effort, maximum paycheck.
Yeah, but he's got that face. He's got that real serious face that he's got.
Yeah.
It looks menacing.
I don't know. It feels like Mark Strong could be doing better.
Yeah, definitely.
To be fair, I mean, like, he was in Tar last year, so, he's...
Poor guy, what a bad run, eh?
Oh, fuck off. Sorry.
I don't think I did. No.
I did.
It's shit.
But, it's, I don't know, it's interesting, the whole kind of, like, this is the film I feared the first would be thing. Kind of. The thing is, with Sandler, I'm always, like, a little bit worried. Well, I have been, but maybe less so these days. I'm kind of worried if it's just going to be fucking juvenile and just, like, basically made for 10-year-olds, whether it's going to be grown-ups. I think that's what I always have in my head.
Yeah.
And I don't think Murder Mystery 2 is even like that. But the film itself, like, the construction of the sounds stupid. The construction of the story around it feels lower energy than the first one. Like, the first one, there's quite a few, like, twists, and the extended cast of characters are developed more. But here, you've basically got a minute of this person's thing is ... and then on to the next one. And I mean, it does well to focus on Sandler and Aniston because I genuinely think they're really good together. But just the mystery itself isn't as interesting.
No,
because it's you've got the kind of like the wrong footing with Jodie Turner-Smith, but then like 2 minutes later she's dead, and then you are just waiting for it to be revealed that Mark Strong was alive all along.
Yeah.
You just know that, and it would have been funnier if it was just like he's a badass and then he gets exploded.
Yeah,
or something.
It would have been the ending was a little bit like. I mean, we literally saw that coming the minute he arrived.
Yeah, exactly. So it was. I had a decent enough time with it, but the first one I could genuinely see me watching again. I don't think I'll be sitting through Murder Mystery 2 again, but it was fine.
Yeah, I think I'm the same with that. I will watch the first one again because it's an awful lot of fun. This one is fun enough. Like, again, if this was like the first one, well, like, if the first one didn't exist and this one was the first one that came out, I think I would still be there going, do you know what? That's better than it probably should be. And it still is better than it probably should be, but it's not as good as the one that came before it, which kind of felt a little bit more breezy and zany.
Yeah, fun. It was charm. It had more charm. This had no charm.
It had a lot less charm.
It had no charm. I was really glad that I watched this at work, so I had something else to do.
So I'm guessing you're more down the shit thing than definitely not shit.
I mean, it's not full on shit. That would be a bit harsh. It's just such a non-entity.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It kind of happens.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to rate it. Shit would be like if it had offended me.
Yeah.
I'd give it a shit
Touching
rating.
cloth then.
So I guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down on shit. I just don't think it's shit. I think it's harmless enough, and it is 90 minutes.
Hey, look, yeah, mild, definitely not shit. And I just felt bad for Melanie Laurent just watching her in it.
Yeah.
A little bit, to be honest.
To go from like what was it? Which Tarantino was it she was in?
Bastards, yeah.
To this shit.
And it's I don't know, like she directs her own films and whatnot in France, and it feels like, hey, look, if this is a paycheck so she can self-finance something that she wants to develop or something, then great. But Melanie Laurent and Adil Akhtar, like those characters in this film, it's just the fact that she's obviously a suspect because that is a marriage that just should not be happening. Those characters, I don't. It would have been good if you actually saw a scene where they were having fun together. Or something.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
No, it does seem like she's a bad guy.
Yeah, and it's too, like, obvious that she's a bad guy, so she's obviously not the one. But then it's like, well, this relationship's never going to work.
I think she's in it because she's friends with Jennifer Aniston.
Sure, yeah.
Which, let's face it, Sandler has made a career out of just casting all his mates.
Yeah, and hey, look, I mean, Sandler, I respect the hustle. I'm sure they went to some very nice places to film this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great. And it obviously works with Netflix because they re-upped his contract. But he also did Hustle last year, you know. So he's doing the new Safdie brothers film, which apparently is set in the world of sports memorabilia, which sounds exactly what Sandler should be doing. So, you know, he's got a career which is working well. Kind of do wish that he'd get on the big screen at some point, but he likes working with Netflix.
That's it. He's you know, Netflix offer him a boatload of money, and he's been Netflix's boy for, you know, a long, long time. You know,
yeah.
And the thing is, I think it's quite clever what Sandler did in the sense of his movies were, he went through a bad run where he made some bad movies, and even he admits, I made shit Adam Sandler movies, and people were I was no longer, you know, guaranteed a hit every movie I made. And so he went down the Netflix route of being, well, if I'm not going to be the big fucking guy at the box office, I can be the biggest guy in streaming.
I just wish he'd go away for a bit.
But Hustle was great.
He can make more hustles any fucking time he wants.
The thing is, he chucks out things like a murder mystery and a Sandy Wexler and bits like this. But as part of his Netflix contract, he's also got like Hustle made, and he brought Uncut Gems to Netflix, and he brought
Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween's actually decent.
Yeah, it's actually.
Hubie Halloween's good.
And he got one of the Noah Baumbach movies, the Meyerowitz Stories.
Meyerowitz Stories.
Yeah. He got that made. You know, and essentially brought Baumbach to Netflix. So he has done bits as well.
Yeah. I like Adam Sandler, even though his statement when he first signed the Netflix deal was saying, I wanted to work with Netflix because it sounds like wet chicks. There's such a push-pull with... I mean, it's so fucking stupid.
The thing is, you never hear, like, a horrible story about him.
No, people like him.
Yeah, people in the industry like him. He's very much kind of like... He has kind of, like, talked about the fact that some of his jokes now, would he make them now? And he's like, well, no. What you should be asking is, should I have made them at the time? And the answer there would probably still be no. But there you go. I did. And if I did it... And he's quite kind of like looks back at stuff and goes, look, I've actually learned from these things. So...
Yeah, but then I feel like even recently, Hubie Halloween is not a sensitive portrayal of somebody with developmental issues.
No, it wasn't.
You know, and that's not like it's a historic film.
No, it wasn't. But I think it also, I don't think Hubie Halloween is saying, look, this is what it's like for somebody with developmental issues. It's just, look, I'm Adam Sandler.
Did he have developmental issues in that?
A
genuine question.
I think it just seems like he does because it's the Adam Sandler man-child thing.
Okay.
We still kick
Okay.
ass.
CS3P Combat. Player 1, choose your character.
Tired of film and television podcasts where the hosts exist in a blissful state of agreement?
Instructor. Player 2, choose your character.
Well, you're in luck.
Punter. Round 1, fight!
Allow me to introduce you to the Chinstroker vs. Punter podcast, featuring two film and television fans from Birmingham, England, who enjoy their media in very different ways.
But anyway, that brings us to the end of the plot of Blue Velvet.
The plot. I mean, the main characters are two of the dullest main characters I have ever encountered in any film.
So join us as we catch up on what we've been watching from our own very different perspectives.
Double KO. Round 2, fight!
You can find us at csvsp.libsyn.com, also on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all the places that podcasts can be found.
Just really
It's not visually striking.
No.
Just getting confirmation.
It's just in That's the third time though. I mean, is this on?
Okie dokie. Should we do some what we've been watching? Bex, you want to kick us off?
What have I been watching?
You've been playing a lot of Last of Us 2, haven't you?
Yeah.
You can cover
Well,
that
how's
now.
that going?
Yeah, so where am I up to? So I'm still in Salt Lake, but I think I had to switch it off the other night because, right, okay, so we were having this discussion, weren't we? One of my main issues with The Last of Us 2, and I think the reason why I struggle with it, and I've struggled with it when I've tried before, is the areas are very, very big. So you've got a lot of samey shit between plot points. So
That's a great point. Yeah.
So, like, I'm at a bit at the moment where she's left Dina in the theatre and she's going to try and find Tommy. Yeah? And so I'm working my way through... So basically, I've got... It's a point A to point B with a fight at the end, is what it kind of should be, with maybe a few bad guys along the way. But it's... so you're going from the city to like a suburb to find Tommy. Now it cuts out the entire journey from the city bit to the suburb bit. There's a cut and you're there. So really, it should be very short, but it's like it's split up into mini areas with a set number of bad guys within that mini area, and then you jump over like a wall or a fence or some shit, and then you're in another mini area with new bad guys and new space to explore. But either more flow between those areas or less of those fucking mini areas would make it so much better. Honestly, I mean, you know what I'm like when I game. I'm a completionist, so I have to explore all the space. Otherwise, I feel like, what if I've missed something really fucking important and I can't move on? So there's like, say 8 houses or 5 shops per mini area, and there's loads of bad guys, and now there's dogs in there as well. It's the same thing, and it's been like hours, hasn't it? You were playing your game, weren't you, on your Mac while I was sat playing this, and it's just, you looked up at one point and went, "Are you still at this bit?"
I've only seen you playing in that bit, and I've been witness to it quite a bit.
Yeah, so the story hasn't advanced in fucking hours. The only thing that's changed is I have to shoot dogs now. So I'm liking it, but it's very bloated. And I think you messaged about Resident Evil 4 the other day, and I was playing Last of Us at the time, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, maybe they are a bit like crack. But anyway, that's a different thread. But at that point, I was playing the bit that I alluded to when we were talking about it before, where Joel takes her to a museum, and it's like a flashback.
Mm.
And it's just so lovely and compact and tight. And all you're doing is wandering around a museum and walking up to various placards, like they've got on museum displays, and she's reading them out and putting this hat that she's found in the gift shop on top of like dinosaurs and stuff like that. And it's just so lovely because the characters feel lived in, and obviously they are, because you've lived in them throughout the whole of the first game, so you know them better. But like the Ellie in this game, I don't know whether it's because it's such a big jump between the Ellie that you played before, and obviously it's like 5 years or something, isn't it?
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like the same person. And they've not really done enough to make you get to know any of the new people. Joel's gone. And I just feel a bit like, well, you know what, I'm enjoying the game and I like stealth killing things, but I don't really care about anybody that much right now.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Last of Us 1 is such a kind of like a linear, we're going to tell a story. Like, you're going to, it's basically going to be, have a bit of story, have a bit of traversal, have a combat encounter, repeat.
Yeah.
And I'm not as far into part 2 as you are, or I haven't made it as far into part 2 as you have. But that point about the open world, so I got to Seattle with Ellie and Dina,
Is it
and
Seattle?
then like you're marking off those bits on the map.
Yeah, riding around on the horse.
Yeah.
In that real fucking confusing. Yeah, go on.
And it's like, and I am just a bit. It is just a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It's like, I'll talk about Resident Evil 4 in a bit, but with the lake in Resident Evil 4, and I think the lake's in like the old version, but there's just like a few things to do, and I'm just a bit like, just tell me what happens next. Like, I just want a focused story. But yeah, anyway, I get it, is what I'm trying to say, but apparently there's not that much of that in part 2.
Right.
So I think maybe it will focus down and be a bit more narrative focused the more you get into it, at least from what I remember reading.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the bit that I'm playing now, it's not like... There's a lot of, it's more open world than the first one, but, like, that bit in the first one where you're travelling with Sam and...
Henry?
Yes. And you go in, there's that bit where you're going through all the houses and then the road bends round and you can either go round the road or you can go through the houses and just drop down.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that bit. So there's a lot to explore, house-wise, if you want to. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm fucking kitted out with everything. I've got too many bullets because I can't carry anymore. And then all the stuff for making stuff. I've got all of that in stock in my rucksack as well, so I can't actually collect anything apart from, like, when she finds letters and things like that, but I still can't not explore it because what if you miss one of those letters and it's important? But anyway, so it's like that bit. So there's a line you have to follow. It's just it's over and over again. I don't like the fact that I now have to shoot dogs either. I need to find a better way to deal with the dogs.
I need games to chill out on the needing to kill animals.
It's the fucking noise they make when you shoot them that I can't cope with.
And I'm not just dogs. I accidentally set a cow on fire in Resident Evil 4 and I felt awful about it.
I think you have to set the cow on fire though, don't you?
But, I mean, I managed to get through that area.
I think
unless there's a bit later on where I have to intentionally set a cow on fire.
Because doesn't it...
In the start, like towards the start, yeah?
I was watching a review of it. It might just be that you can set the cow on fire and then it kills loads of other things for you.
Yeah, I accidentally did it and I felt really bad.
Just leave the animals alone, computer game.
Even though you're right, it did kill a few of the villagers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, not as good as the first one currently for me. I don't really care about any of the other characters. Or even really Ellie, because it's like, #not my Ellie. She's just like a completely different person. Which, after 5 years, you're allowed to change, but it doesn't feel like a development of the character in the first game. It doesn't feel like a logical progression. Oh, and I have a guitar now.
You done Take On Me?
I don't know. When she first picked up the guitar in the theatre, I was a bit like, yeah, all right, yeah, play. And then it led into the flashback with Joel, so I can't remember what song it was.
Yeah, it's not that. There's a bit where she finds it in a store and then plays Take On Me to Dina.
Oh, okay. Dina's all right.
Yeah, Dina's fine.
Oh, she gets in the fucking way. Yeah, I did call her a burden. Do you know why Dina's a burden? How much of the story do you know?
Don't think that much.
Okay. Yeah, I called her a burden and then left her in a theatre.
Nice.
But she gets in the way though. All the time.
Sorry, 2 ticks. Could you grab me 2 of these and I'll put 50p in your account, please? Thank you. Sorry. Well, do you think you're going to make it through the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I'll play it through. I don't. It's like walking out of a film before it's finished. I've wasted all the time I've put into it up to now if I don't finish it. And I'm not hating it. It's just
not as good as the first one.
It's just not as good as the first one. I just wish it'd fucking get on with it. And I don't like killing dogs. That's my current hot take. But I'll say more next week, I guess. Once I've probably finished it by then.
Yeah, you probably. Oh God, yeah, you probably will have. Izzy's not about. Mark's working nights. What else are you going to do?
Exactly. Eat enchiladas and play The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah.
Mark won't eat enchiladas, so if he's ever not here, I have to eat them. I have to take the opportunity.
What's wrong with enchiladas, Mark?
Just don't know why I have enchiladas when I can have fajitas.
Because they're better. There's more cheese involved.
Because they're better.
They're not.
Donna doesn't like enchiladas either, and yeah, I like enchiladas.
Yeah, they're good.
Tell you what, Bex, when we're all out at like a Mexican sometime, we'll have enchiladas.
That sounds good. And then the only other thing that I watched was the Black Phone.
Second watch?
Yeah, second watch. Yeah, it's just landed on Sky, hasn't it? So, I noticed. Well, I went on to watch something. Oh, I sort of started Succession, and in the continue watching bit, the Black Phone was on there. I was like, Isabel, have you started watching the Black Phone? And she was like, yeah, I have. But then it reminded me that it existed. So, yeah, it's a fucking banger. Is the Black Phone?
I very much liked it.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's just so well made. It's so clever how it deals with like the ghost kids and stuff like that, and it's just
Remind me, it wasn't written by Joe Hill, was it?
yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a short story that was then adapted?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, okay.
The Black Phone, hang on a sec. Short story of the same name, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I might have to get into to Joe Hill, because obviously Stevie's getting real old, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Oh, it's a shame. If it wasn't for all the child kidnapping and whatnot, I reckon Donna would like that. Like, like 10 years ago, Donna would have been into the Black Phone. And that's not a criticism. It's just like tastes change. But yeah.
But yeah, it's just such a good film. Like, and I think it seemed to just kind of come and go, and no one seemed to really talk about it that much. But it's just so fucking clever how they've dealt with the ghosts and things like that. So yeah.
What, like the way they shoot, like the way they kind of visualize it?
Yeah, just the way, obviously you've got the phone call, but then the camera will pan and they'll be in the background, and but it'll be focused on him, but you'll be able to see the movement from the face of the ghost, that they're talking, like their mouth's moving, but he's hearing it through the phone, or they'll be like acting stuff out. And the bit where his mate is doing like the actions with him in the background. The bit from the trailer, basically.
Yeah. Like the throwing, is it throwing?
He's teaching him how to hit him with the phone.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I knew there was some sort of arm movement, yeah.
It's just so good. And then, like, every... it's very God in the machine, but every bit of, like, information that he's got off the telephone call helps him in the end with his final escape.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really fucking good. I think it's underrated.
Mm. It did well though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel
like quietly made a couple 100 million worldwide, I think.
Oh, that's good. I just wish critically it had made a bit more of a splash.
I feel like if it came out this year, it would have hit more. It kind of feels like last year there was still just a little bit of. I like people not necessarily going to the cinema all the time, and like the releases are staggered, and it just didn't seem like it was in as much of the conversation. I feel like if it came out this year, like The Pope's Exorcist, I expect that to be one of the most critically well received films of the year when it comes out next week.
Oh, God, yeah.
At least on Film Bastards.
yeah.
But yeah, that's me. That's really all I've been doing with my time.
Cool. Okay. Mark, what fucking Pauly Shore shit have you watched this week?
Do you know what? Oh, wait, no, I have. Yeah, alright. So, I rewatched Friends with Benefits, the 2011 sort of rom-com directed by Will Gluck, off the back of Easy A, so he was,
Hot shit.
Hot shit.
Yeah.
And he had JT in there and Mila Kunis, and then, you had Richard Jenkins. Woody Harrelson playing a gay sports reporter, but being just ridiculously entertaining with it is good fun. And it's a rom-com that basically signposts everything that's going to happen with it, but I think rom-coms can get away with that. And it's really quite fun and it's quite charming, and Mila Kunis is a large part of that because she's fun and she's charming to spend time with. And yeah, I had a good time rewatching it. But also that came out the same year was No Strings Attached, the Ivan Reitman movie, which was basically about the same thing. And it starred Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. And I'm usually an Ashton Kutcher fan. I'm the one Ashton Kutcher fan out there.
But the reason this one doesn't work. How did you describe Mila Kunis?
Charming.
And
fun.
Yeah.
And engaging.
Flip that exactly 180, charming and fun. You've got Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Charmless and fucking annoying.
And that genuinely is the genuine issue with this movie, is it's not fun. It's not charming. It's none of those things. And the problem is, it's the weird thing here is, this is some of the cast from this movie. So you've got, take away Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman, you've also got Kevin Kline, Carrie Elwes, Greta Gerwig's in there, Leigh Bell, Oliver Thirlby, Ludacris, Jake Johnson, Ophelia Lovibond. All these people are actually quite charming and quite...
Yeah, that's a good supporting
cast. And they're quite engaging to watch. The problem is, the story is actually all about Natalie Portman. And
she's like a charm black hole. She's just absorbed everyone else.
She just has this constant hue of, I am so above this.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
And
she has that in everything she's in.
But honestly, with this, it was powerful. You watch it going, it seems like every time Reitman went cut, she would literally like just sort of like brush everything off and then just wander off because she didn't want to be around any of these people. And it's just, it's energyless, this movie. You watch it going, I don't know why they would be even friends. Never mind friends that have benefits. They don't seem like they like each other. It's not very good.
But again, back to the Natalie Portman thing, she doesn't really seem like she likes anybody in anything she's in.
I think she's trying to kind of reinvent herself now a little bit.
What, by getting hench for
and seeming less cold.
She doesn't though.
Hang
She's
on.
failing at it.
Sorry, what does getting hench mean?
Getting all muscly.
Right. Oh, is she? Oh, because of fucking Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Right.
She's got big arms in it, hasn't she?
Hench.
And everyone got real excited for a minute there. But she's failing at it because she still comes across really quite cold and distant and...
Yeah, it's not very good, No Strings Attached, but Friends with Benefits still stands up as a fun movie. Alright, I've got two more. So I rewatched As Good As It Gets, which was like a big hit in 1997. And it was nominated for a bunch of awards, including Best Picture, I believe Best Director, and it won Academy Awards for Jack Nicholson for Best Actor and Helen Hunt for Best Actress. The thing is, and I kind of, as I was watching it, bits from the trailer where I was going, oh, I remember this trailer, because it was on, basically the trailer, this was on every VHS you could rent. So you were almost forced to watch the trailer. So bits of it like live in my mind. And so lines like a receptionist at the publishing house for which Jack Nicholson's character works for, saying, how do you write such great women? And his response is, I take a man and I remove logic and reason.
Oh, God.
And that is a genuine line in the movie. And the thing is, you're supposed to think this guy's an arsehole, but you're also supposed to root for him as well at the same time.
What does he say? Is it positioned? I've never seen As Good As It Gets. Is it positioned as he's saying the things we're all thinking? Or is it he's an arsehole, but he's like...
It very much lays him out as he's a prick.
All right.
But like the... so, do you know the story of it briefly, though? Of As Good As It Gets?
he's a dickhead who has a dog.
He essentially has OCD and a few other mental ailments, and he ends up like his neighbour is Greg Kinnear, who is a gay painter, who is involved in like a robbery, and he has to look after his dog and all this stuff. But within the first 5 minutes of the movie, Jack Nicholson's character has had 2 homophobic rants where he is just outright, ridiculously homophobic, and an anti-Semitic rant, and he's thrown a dog down a trash chute in the apartment block that he lives in.
What?
Yeah, that's in the first 5 minutes of this rom-com. And it never kind of stops being like that throughout the entirety of the film. Like, he doesn't really get that much better. It's just like I don't know, it's such a confusing movie in the sense that Jack Nicholson is very, very good, and you can see why he won the Academy Award for it. But also as well, you watch it going, this movie, it's not that it's aged badly, it's just that this movie simply wouldn't exist now. Because the script would come forward and every studio would go, do you know what? That script is fucking great. It's brilliant. No, it's not worth the hassle. And that's basically what it is. It's not worth the hassle. Like, there's a bit where Greg Kinnear's character essentially gets evicted from the building whilst he's away on like a weekend trip with Jack Nicholson, that Jack Nicholson has basically gone on just so he can take Helen Hunt on this weekend trip. And Jack Nicholson basically breaks the news by saying, well, congratulations, Fairy, you're homeless now. And so Greg Kinnear's character going, right, damn, where am I going to live? He's like, it's your fruity agent, who's played by Cuba Gooding Jr., has sorted it out for you. And it turns out that he hasn't sorted it out, that Jack Nicholson's basically just told them to move all his stuff into his apartment and he can stay there. And like Greg Kinnear doesn't know this. And then when he gets there, he's sort of saying to him, why are you doing this? He's like, look, just let's not make a big deal out of this. And he's like, I think Greg Kinnear's character says something along the lines of, I love you and this is one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me. And Jack Nicholson's character's like, buddy, I'm the luckiest man alive if that did it for me. And it's just like, it's almost like he's an arsehole, but he's not an arsehole. But he is still an arsehole. It's an odd film that I'm glad exists, reminds you of how fucking good. And there's another film that I'll get to in a second that reminds you of how fucking good Jack Nicholson was. And it's a shame, and I get it, reasons why he doesn't make movies anymore. But, like, I don't think he's made of the fact that Jack Nicholson is just out there and retired.
Or is he just retired?
Yeah, he's retired. He hasn't made a movie for over 10 years.
He's not, like, unwell or anything?
No. He still, like, crops up at parties and stuff like that. Just doesn't want to make movies anymore. He's done that. Don't need to. Made his mark.
Fair enough.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because he never really forged a relationship with a specific director where it's like, okay, if that director's making a film, maybe Nicholson will do it. Because, we were talking earlier on about Scorsese and, like, De Niro and DiCaprio, like, coming back for him. Nicholson only worked with him once.
Yeah.
So there's none of that particular pull either. So, so what? His last role was How Do You Know?
Yeah.
What a fucking film to go out on. Directed by James L. Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably as close as the James L. Brooks. But the thing is, he was...
Oh, yeah, because he had broadcast news as well, didn't he? Sorry, yeah.
He made a couple of movies in the 90s with Sean Penn, Crossing Guard and The Pledge. He tends to like work with the director. We worked with him a couple of times and then never worked with him again.
It's interesting, yeah.
So speaking of working with Martin Scorsese, I watched The Departed.
So did I.
What did you make of it on a rewatch? Because I have a thing with The Departed in the sense that, you know, there's occasions where if you were talking with somebody that you didn't really know that well about movies and they mentioned The Departed and they said something, you'd want to punch them on the nose to shut them up.
I don't know whether I'd go that far. My takeaway from The Departed on this watch is Jack Nicholson is in a different film from everybody else.
Oh yeah, and he's absolutely supposed to be, because he's supposed to be this completely
larger than life,
just random fucking character. Like the fact that him and Scorsese discussed things that he was going to say that aren't in the script, or was going to do that aren't in the script, just to see what reactions they'd get out of Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, yeah, because the dildo thing, he just brought a dildo to set and was just like, I'm going to try something.
Yeah, and told Scorsese, and Scorsese was like, yeah. And then Jack Nicholson was like, should we tell Matt? And he's like, no, we are not telling him at all.
I mean, I just, maybe the funniest thing in any Scorsese film is Matt Damon sitting in the cinema and the guy, like Jack Nicholson, just like breathing heavily and then turning around with a dildo down by his crotch with that look on his face and that hat on. It is just maybe one of the great cinematic images.
It's brilliant.
It's so like that, you know, that random bit where there's opera music playing and like he's like throwing coke around, is like snort enough until you go numb, and it's like, what was that about? It's he is having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I mean, him and Mark Wahlberg are having the time of their lives.
Wahlberg, just fucking. I mean, Wahlberg was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in this, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was. It's just like, I'm the guy who does his job, you must be the other guy.
Yeah.
One of the great insults.
Yeah. But even Baldwin in that, just before that, when Matt Damon comes in, he's like, I'm really sorry, I've got, for being late on. I'm tense. What is it? I'm going to go for a cigarette. Do you want to come for a cigarette? I bet you don't want to come for a cigarette. I bet you're one of those health kick guys. I fucking hate you. Bye. What's up? It's just, you look at going, is Alec Baldwin and Jack Nicholson both just essentially like fucking cocaine, the two sides of movie?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It's not one of Scorsese's best, and it's been said many times. But the fact that this was the one that he won like Best Director for is okay. It was kind of like a make-up thing, and that's I think that's fine.
Punch on the nose.
It's not. Sorry,
that's the punch on the nose moment.
Yeah, no,
I think there is. Look, just because Scorsese had made better movies, which are a handful of them are some of the best movies of all time, for some reason it seems to be you can downgrade The Departed because Mean Streets, Raging Bull, and fucking Taxi Driver exist.
Okay, look, let's just do this a sec then. Like, what else was nominated that year?
Let's have a look. So, Best Picture was also Babel, Letters from Iwo Jima, Little Miss Sunshine, and The Queen.
Yeah, okay, so you give The Departed Best Picture.
Yeah.
What was director?
Inarritu, Clint Eastwood, Stephen Fryers, and Paul Greengrass.
Okay, so to be fair, I would give it to Paul Greengrass, but out of those, but it is not an egregious win. It's not a what the fuck was that? It's not extremely loud and incredibly close getting nominated for Best Picture because it's Stephen Frears.
Yeah, that was
or Stephen Daldry, either or. Like the Departed is a fucking solid film. I don't think it's a 5 out of 5 banger, but it's really, really solid. It is lived in, and it's just full of like Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
All over the shop, but it's also super, super entertaining. And yeah, the time flies by.
That first opening 20 minutes where it's establishing everything, and Scorsese is just having so much fucking fun with needle drops, and having Jack Nicholson constantly appearing like in the shadows, and then all of a sudden you get a big fucking reveal of him. And then it just fucking hard cuts to fucking Coming Out of Boston by Dropkick Murphys.
The needle drops are mad as well, because they'll start a song, then that song will stop and there'll be some dialogue, then another song will come in, then that will stop, and then the first song will kick back in, or something like it's got this just manic, I haven't slept in 5 days energy about it.
Yeah.
That it absolutely, the editing of the film is just getting into that zone.
Oh, I mean,
it's all purposeful.
Is one of cinema's most underappreciated artists, without question.
No, absolutely. My one complaint is I would have liked maybe a bit more Vera Farmiga and Leonardo DiCaprio, because that even though my whole read on that is Matt Damon's not getting it up. She's like attracted to DiCaprio, and like your vulnerability is really freaking me out right now, I think is the line.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily going to be a great love of their lifetimes, but they're just
gonna fuck.
They're into each other in that moment. I think that's okay. I just maybe another scene or two with them would have been good, but yeah, it's a cracking time.
Mm. Yeah, it's a fucking the thing is, when The Departed is like not probably even in your top 5 films of all time as a filmmaker, that is fucking staggering. It is fucking bonkers. But yeah, I really do enjoy watching it, and it's 2.5 hours long, and it bangs by like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't remember this film at all, really. I think I get muddled up between this one and what was the Tom Hanks one that's gangstery?
Road to Perdition.
Yeah, I get muddled up between those two because I think they came out quite close together.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get muddled up as to which one's which.
Yeah, Departed. It's very good, and it's very much Scorsese doing his thing. And I think I remember reading something on this little podcast with William Monahan, who wrote it. After he'd sort of the script had landed with Scorsese, 'cause it bounced around a few people. I think Spielberg was going to direct it at one point. When he got Scorsese's copy of the script back, he said it's bonkers. Because Scorsese just makes notes like a motherfucker. He said, and it just had like all these things written on it. He said, now reading through it, going, what? There's like X's and there's pictures over it, and then just like there'll be like a song bit, and it'll just say, "Remind me, Karen," and then it'll just say it'll be like a song thing, and it's because he's like his assistant's name was like Karen at the time, and so it like a song name. He'd be looking at it going,
"Is Karen Scorsese's Diane?"
Yeah, literally like that, and it's like he said you'd be looking at it going, what? why is it keep saying this same song? And then when you actually sit down and watch the movie, you go, oh, holy shit, all of this makes sense. And it's apparently it was the same when they were writing Goodfellas. They'd be writing it, and because when they wrote them like at two sides of a table. Like Scorsese would be going, yes, we're going to say, ooh, quickly, make notes, and he'd like say, he'd be like, make notes right now. Right, Eric Clapton. And he's like, have to write Eric Clapton next to it. It's the scattered brain of just, you'd look at it and go, this makes no fucking sense. But Scorsese looks at it and goes, right, that's the movie.
Yeah.
It's almost like code.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows code looks at it and it's a load of fucking, it's code, but they're seeing the picture of what it actually is.
Yeah.
It's the bonkersness of it all. What have you been watching, Ian?
So I talk a bit about Resident Evil 4 remake. This is out on PC, the Xbox Series consoles, PS4 and PS5. So I played about 4 or 5 hours of this last weekend and then deleted it. And then I started it again. Because it's very Moorish.
I think
but
all the
maybe
Resident Evil sort of remake games are. They're very much like, there's no breaks in them where you think, yep, this is a good place to stop. So you end up just playing them for ages.
And that's exactly what happened to me Sunday night last week, where I went to bed at about midnight, which is not like me, because I was just like, I'm just going to do this bit. Oh shit, then this is happening. Okay, I've got to do this bit. So it kept on happening. So, but I've started it over again. So I'll talk about where I got up to. So I got up to where you find Ashley. Is that her name?
Yeah.
And then you've got to like start kind of like protecting her while battling stuff. And I was just like, right, fuck it, I'm done. But I've come back to it now. Like, okay.
4 is the Las Plagas one, isn't it? Or Plagas or whatever it's called.
Sorry?
4 is...
Oh, the very sensitive depiction of rural Spain.
Yeah. But the virus is called like Las Plagas or something, isn't it? And that leads into like Biohazard, I think.
Sure.
Because that's referenced.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Because I've not played 4 all the way through ever, like even the old back in the day. So
yeah,
I'm really interested to play it.
It sets it up more. So Resident Evil 2. I tried playing that again a couple of weeks back, and I got as far as Mr. X being introduced.
Oh God, that dickhead.
And then I was just like, right, okay, so now every now and then this guy is just going to pop up, and then I've just got to run away from him. Do I? No.
Oh God, I forgot about him.
So done. But Resident Evil 4 feels like Resident Evil if it was directed by Michael Bay. And that I can fuck with. So this is action horror. This is you kill people and they just drop bullets.
Nice.
And you just, I never ever feel like I am not equipped to do the job. Resident Evil 2, I constantly felt like I wasn't equipped to do the job, and that's the whole survival horror aspect of it. Yeah. You know, just the constantly, oh my god, I don't have enough to live. This, it's like, no, you do that. You just have fun shooting things in the head and then melee kicking them. Like, you jump out of windows, you'll be fine. You know, and it is really, really fun. And I do feel tense, and it does freak me out from time to time, but it doesn't have that oppressive atmosphere of Resident Evil 2. And there's the big thing when the original came out, where it was like, it was the turn the series took with then 5 and 6, where it went bit more action game with horror elements. But me being me, that's more where I'm at. So
I think that's where we kind of diverge a little bit. I love the creepy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The shit, and less the action, but I'll give it a go.
But it's very, very fun. And just the thing is, so with the PlayStation 5, here's a sales pitch for PlayStation 5 again, Bex. So the controllers have these things called adaptive triggers, where you like they can program it so that you have resistance in the triggers. And so the different guns have a different trigger feel. And the feel of a shotgun just being a big pop versus the handgun being a bit more like but, and kind of like the trigger like stopping your finger. It's very immersive. And just like that kind of stuff. And it's just like when you're being like attacked, like they've got you, and it's R2 to stab a knife in their neck. You press that, and it's a really satisfying press down of the trigger to do the funk, and it kind of like replicates the whole kind of like I'm fucking putting this knife in you, boom, kind of thing. It's it's fun. So yeah, I really I'm enjoying my time with it, and I will try and see it out. But yeah, it's fun. So Resident Evil 4 remake. So I watched The Departed, as obviously we already talked about. I watched Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Is that the second one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I came in from walking the dog yesterday, and the girls were watching Wreck-It Ralph. It was part way through, so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get into this because we're part way through. Donna went out last night, and I was playing Fortnite with Lottie, and she was like, oh, I'm a bit bored, can we do something else? And I was like, do you want to watch Ralph Breaks the Internet? She was like, yeah. Now, we took her to the cinema to see it, and she didn't remember a thing about it. Ralph Breaks the Internet, I don't think is as good as Wreck-It Ralph, even though it's got some interesting shit in it about Ralph being insecure about Vanellope wanting to live her life, potentially without him being there all the time. And so he's labelled as an insecurity, and then this virus identifies him as like an insecurity, and then it makes like loads of Ralphs, and then they morph into a big Ralph, and then he's kind of like the bad guy at the end, but he's just basically insecure. And I think that's quite a fun idea. It's aged. Like, there's a lot of like websites about that it's referencing. It's like, well, that doesn't exist anymore. Definitely made in a way more innocent time about Twitter, where Twitter is represented by a bunch of lovely blue birds and not Elon Musk just going, I am the Lord, I will take your verified status away from you, give me $10 a month, you fucks. And
also weirdly, like, moving the hash tag button, so you have to go in and find your hash rather than it just be on your standard keyboard. It's just a really weird little... Why have they done that?
Have they?
Oh, I didn't.
I don't tweet. So.
I don't very often, but sorry, I was looking at
No.
When you type, usually it used to be... Oh, no, what is it? We haven't found it there anymore.
Oh, it's on mine.
Yeah, but you haven't updated your app.
No, I haven't. No.
He's made loads of weird decisions.
You're not going to be able to vote in like polls.
Apparently.
Yeah, unless you got Twitter Blue. Yeah.
What about when we do our definitely not shit polls?
Well, we'll find out in a few weeks.
Well, we're fucked. So yeah. But yeah, look, I just looked at the time. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I enjoy it. It's not as good as the first. Lottie, the Disney princess scene in it. Those who've seen it will know what I mean. She freaked the fuck out. She was fucking loving it. It was just like Disney princesses in pajamas. She was all about it. So yeah, that was good. Rewatched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That film's cracking. It's just really, really fun. There you go. And I watched Luther, The Fallen Son.
Good, yeah, I forgot you watched this.
Yeah. Never watched an episode of Luther in my life, but it was on my Netflix loads. So, just very, very quickly, Andy Serkis is fucking terrible in this. Strong what Mark thinks about Toby Jones vibes for me with Andy Serkis. Like brilliant motion capture performer, unsure about when he's actually on screen. Awful character though, to be fair, really, really bad. I can't believe that this is the film that they wanted to make. When it was like, okay, we're going to do a big screen version of Luther, and it's this. It's a bad film. It's just a bad film. It's basically, Luther is in prison for some reason. I don't know if that happened at the end of the TV series. But he's basically a copper who likes punching people and not doing things the professional way. He breaks out of prison because a guy played by Andy Serkis is basically tormenting him with I did a murder that you didn't solve, and now I'm going to do some more shit. So I thought he was like a massive big bad and was like a figure from his past, and it's like, no, he's this guy who's just literally just come up now. He's not a big bad. It's kind of interesting at the start because it's Andy Serkis's character is basically hacking into people's smart home devices to get leverage on them to then blackmail them into doing shit, which is interesting. And it's like this whole thing of what he's blackmailing them for. They're not necessarily like big world-changing things. They're small, embarrassing things.
Yeah.
That, you know, would just be like harmful to their social circle and whatnot if it went out, which I thought was interesting. But by the end, it's like, okay, Luther and Cynthia Erivo have gone to Norway, I think it is, or Sweden, so that they can have sweeping shots of them walking in amongst like snowy shit. And then the ending is this bizarre. Actually, Andy Serkis just webcast, like, live streams people being tortured and killed. And he's got loads of cameras, and this is the point that Noel picked up on, which is, yeah. He's got all these cameras and all these, like, people. Spoilers for Luther the Fallen Son. All these people are live streaming in. These sick fuckers are live streaming in. But when they log off because of stuff in the film, everyone they log off, a camera goes off, which seems to be indicating that every live streamer is represented by a camera. And there's a lot of cameras, but he also says that there are tens of thousands of people watching. So how does that make sense? This film is not good. It is really, really not good. And Andy Serkis is wearing wigs that just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Bad movie. And I'd be interested to see what fans of the show think, because if I was a fan of a show and I watched that film, fucking hell, it's like the second X-Files film. There we go. So, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, is directed by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. I'm going to say from my memory, I fucking rinsed it. Stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, the improbably third build Regé-Jean Page. Justice... Yeah, what the... I mean, that's some agent shit, that is. Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, Hugh Grant, and others. So, a charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. Becky, you fucking love Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
I fucking did love Dungeons and Dragons. I was gonna go... So, we went to see it on Friday night at 9:30 after you finished work at 9, didn't we?
Yeah.
Didn't get home until 1:30. That was a day. But then Mark was at work till 8 on Saturday, and I finished at 5, and I was like, right, if there is a fucking showing that starts sometime relatively close to 5 o'clock, I'm going to see this again. But there was not, alas. There was not. Yeah, I fucking loved it. It just had real kind of like nostalgic value for me. For like back when we were kids, and like there was just really good fantasy films and TV shows just all over the place, and we just took them for granted. It just really took me back to that place. Like, it had kind of storyteller vibes for me. With like the fucking weird costuming and stuff like that just shouldn't have worked. It should have looked stupid, but I think if you're in, then the cat lady whose kitten's been eaten by a fish don't bother you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just honestly it was just really sort of I felt really like involved in it, and the story was great and all the performances were great, and it was just like it gave me that same kind of magical feeling that watching like Labyrinth and Legend as a kid used to give me. I really, really fucking loved it. Film of the year.
Good.
But yeah,
we'll get into it.
That bit where he's playing the fucking lute creased me.
Yeah, you were.
That was some strong 21 Jump Street when they're doing the drugs.
Yeah.
And they like vibes. Like the just where like is it like his chin just keeps going down and they hold it for longer than they should, but it's very funny.
And his one eye's just getting bigger.
Yeah.
I just
so
absolutely loved it. I want to see it again.
Well,
I might go next week one night.
You should.
Oh, that's great.
Showing at
We'll get more.
Monday night.
There you go.
I've checked. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get it kind of more into the detail. But Mark, what were your thoughts?
It's really quite charming and quite fun. To be honest, I think they've got the casting really, really well. And if you'd have told me that at any point over the past 20 years, hey, do you know what? At some point, Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez are going to be in a movie together, and they're going to have such great fucking chemistry. I'd be like,
oh, I need to see those two fuck very badly.
You'd be like, no, they won't. That won't happen. But they did. They had great...
No, I know it won't happen, but I still want it. Yeah, sorry.
They had great chemistry together. They played it very well.
But not romantic chemistry, just real kind of...
Like friends, yeah. They're just like...
It's just there was the odd moment, though. It felt like they were keeping their options open, is all.
It did feel like there was a little element of that, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah,
we get to the place, the man's tiny.
Oh, when Bradley Cooper turns up and he's tiny, yeah.
And then at the end when she's like giving like
the other
eyes
tiny man,
to the tiny man. Oh, I thought she was fucking great in it because she can be a bit self-serious, Michelle Rodriguez, can't she?
Yeah.
And just to see her having like a fucking blast in this was just really nice.
It was interesting because there was an interview with Michelle Rodriguez this last week where she was talking about how she turned down coming back to Avatar 2. And it was like, look, I've been killed off and brought back in Fast and Furious. And there's another one as well. That she mentioned specifically, I can't remember. And it was like, look, can we not just do, if there's a woman who's not attached to a man, that you just don't kill her off in the first one and then have her come back in future ones? And it's just like, it's such a good point. And I am so pleased for Michelle Rodriguez that she's got this. And this film was projected to do 30 million in the US this weekend. It's going to do 40. So it's tracking above expectations. I'm a little bit worried about how it's going to drop off next week with Super Mario.
It's alright because I'm going to go see it again.
There you go. But no, honestly, I think the good buzz about the film, I think, is going to hold it in decent stead for the next few weeks. I'm so pleased with Michelle Rodriguez.
Can I just
no,
point
it was
out,
the
though,
Fast
she does
films.
get killed
The Fast
off
films. They killed her off and they brought her back. Sorry, that's what it was. Of course it was. Sorry, Bex. Go on.
I was just going to say, can I just point out she does get killed off and brought back within this movie?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, but at least it's within the film.
Yeah.
And just that whole aspect as well. It reminded me of Guardians Volume 2, where it was like, he may be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of aspect to it, Michelle Rodriguez's character. Could have done with a little bit more of her and the daughter to really cement that, but I get that they did have limited screen time.
Well, it was quite interesting that earlier on, when he's apologising to his daughter, and he's basically saying, "Look, I wasn't trying to bring back your mum; I was trying to bring back my wife."
Yeah.
And it does and you get the realisation from him of, "Oh, hang on a minute, I'm trying to bring back. She's already got a mum."
She didn't even remember her.
Yeah. It kind of it worked within that, and
it's fucking ballsy.
yeah.
As well, like just the whole kind of like the maternal mother is not the person that she loves.
Yeah. Was that the same interview when she was talking about like having to like really bulk up for the role as well?
I don't remember seeing that, but no, for this.
Yeah, because she's like she's supposed to be like a fighter, like a warrior, and she's not really built like that, is she, day to day?
No.
So she had to like she had to do loads of like weightlifting and shit, I think, from what I was reading.
So, I need to do my one big problem with the film.
Go on.
I fucking need Justice Smith to not play this character again. I'm in a situation. I don't want to be involved in this situation. Why am I involved in this situation? Fuck off.
I like Justice Smith, but yes, you're right. He is often
he's fine. I don't have a problem with him.
He's very typecast, isn't he?
And it just like, all right, cool. The next one, let's have him and Sophia Lillis having some chemistry together. I got no problem with that. That's a fun pairing. And let's just have him be, I don't know, even if it's just like he's getting too cocky and needs to be brought down a peg or something, let's go the other way with him.
Yeah, if he ends up being the big bad in the next one.
Really weirded me out when the daughter went from being what she was to being like the little sister from Upload. That really freaked me out.
Fucking hell. Yeah, okay. That girl, Chloe Coleman, she's been in shit. Like, she's... Because I recognise her from a couple other things as well.
She's in Gunpowder
and she's not that...
And she's in Avatar.
Yeah, but you won't be able to see her.
Well, no, you can't see her.
Yeah, so it's like she's the girl in Marry Me. She's the girl who Dave Bautista protects in My Spy.
That's it, yeah.
It's just like she's the girl with Adam Driver in 65, apparently.
Yeah.
Like it just like, yeah, her screen career started like 5 years ago, and she's been in multiple shit that I recognise her in. It's very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, Regé Jean-Page being third build is a reach.
Agent shit.
He's not an actor I want to get behind because he's a bridging wanker, but he's really good in this.
Oh, he's really good in this, yeah. He's a lot of fun in it.
He's so funny, and him and Chris Pine riffing off each other is really good.
The best bit in the entire movie is, he's walking a really straight line. There's a rock there. Let's see what he does.
Oh my god!
Just walks over the rock.
Absolutely incredible.
The fact that then they continue the scene in the background, he's still just walking in a straight line. Is great. I didn't pay attention to anything else that was happening in that scene because I was just watching him continuing to walk in a straight line, and then when it meets the cliff that he's walking towards, he just disappears into the cliff.
I didn't notice that. That's great. I just it needed a bit more of that. I'm not like, because it wasn't overly kooky or anything, which is great, and it didn't have the kind of MCU of like, well, that just happened, but that and the whole at the start when they're doing the prison thing and they're asking for Jonathan, and it's like, when is he coming? And it was just like, okay, because he's actually a friend of his. Okay, this is going to be interesting. No, it's just so they could bundle him out of the fucking window and he'd fly off. I love how fucking stupid that plan was. It was great.
The fact that they're there going, wait, we've just approved it.
Yeah, that was good.
And then Grant's trying to do
they're
it later
building
on.
up the whole, like, he's on our side. Oh, I think you really want to hear his perspective. And it's just like, no, just fucking bundle him out.
Oh god. Oh. I also really loved the ongoing like potato thing. What was that about? It was just there.
Oh,
but
just
I
the
loved
potato
it.
being really hard when it hit Hugh Grant. It just the
No,
added
no,
like,
no.
oh,
Michelle Rodriguez's
noise.
potato thing throughout. Like she's eating potatoes in the prison. She constantly, like, if they're around, she like looks at them like really lovingly. She'll use them as weapons. It's just like there's just potatoes are like this ongoing.
It
theme
must be
throughout
something
the
to
movie.
do with the game.
It must be, yeah. I also really enjoyed the fat dragon.
You really liked the fat dragon, didn't you?
That was fucking hilarious.
It's just like when he was coming out, I was like, that's a really chunky dragon, and then they're just like,
And then they say it themselves. That's a real pudgy dragon.
shit, this film's better than I remembered it being. And I mean, Hugh Grant's great as well. Like the way that it's like his plan is he doesn't just want to be Lord, he does just want to steal all their shit and fuck off. Is brilliant.
Yeah, I don't think I can watch them kill you, so I'm going to leave the room.
Yeah.
There was also a good cameo in this that nobody else in the cinema watched, and I did full fucking Leo meme.
Which one?
What, Cooper?
When Tom Morello turned up.
Oh, yeah.
Who was Tom Morello?
It was a guy in the audience who they focused on for way too long. He was kind of...
Oh, when Justice Smith's doing his thing towards the start?
No, at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's Tom Morello's there. And I did the full, like, DiCaprio of, like, pointing at the screen with Becky going, what are you pointing at?
What? The thing is, the amount of Hollywood people who are big D&Ders and they didn't play into that was interesting. Like, I don't know how Joe Manganiello is not in it.
Apparently, the John Rod-Stewart has said that Morello, one of the other guys who's in their Dungeons and Dragons game they've got going, and Joe Manganiello did shoot bits. It's just they didn't want to make it too obvious that they're there, but apparently he is in it somewhere.
It's just give Manganiello a role
In the next one.
in the next one. Just do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be a big part of it.
And he'd do it in a flash.
Yeah.
I will watch this film quite a bit again because it is a good time. Pine is just great at playing this character.
I will say, Daisy Head as the villain, I liked her. They needed more of her. I thought at the end when she was giving that kind of speech of I've had to like sit around men making stupid decisions and just having to deal with it for years. More of that, please. I was kind of a little bit... The third act I was a bit disappointed with. It felt like they'd run the extent of their budget. The bit where they turn around on the boat and then have to go back, it feels a little bit like you probably could have ended it there. Yeah, I don't know. It just...
Died?
Everyone in that little place had died, yeah.
No, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say... I don't know. It was just like, at the end, I get it. Like, they're coming together and joining up their powers to defeat her and whatnot. It just... I don't know. I feel like it just could have been a bit bigger, and I just got the sense the production value didn't quite stretch there. Also, I will say some bad compositing at points, some bad CG. The thing is, I think that if this does well enough, they're going to go, right, people like this, we will spend some money on the second one. Because now that we've established this, you know, I think the second film is going to fucking slap. I really, really liked this, don't get me wrong. And talking about it, I think I like it more. And I'm looking forward to watching it again. I think the second one's going to slap.
Money at the second one, though. I like that it looks like...
I think some of the hawkiness is them going, right, we don't have the budget, but we can lean into it a little bit.
But I mean more like maybe less CG, more animatronics.
Yeah.
Because they had some good animatronics in it. It's like actually spend it on feeling like a lived-in place. Yeah. I think that's what it is actually. That battle at the end, it is just actors against nothing real throwing shit at each other.
Yeah, which feels a little bit like, really, are we not done with this yet?
Yeah, and it's like do this like more obviously practically, and I could vibe with that because it's like Jonathan, like the fact that it was obviously an animatronic, and the corpse, the 5 questions bit, by the way, fucking amazing. Like that whole just like having to ask multiple corpses because they only get some part of the way into the story. That
Before
one who
they
just
die,
smacked his head.
Yeah.
Oh,
that first one.
Right.
So, shall I ask him another question? Yes. No, not you. Don't answer me. Why did you answer me? And he just goes through his 5 questions.
Why did you
get my fucking shovel?
Why did you finish that question? Why did you finish that with a question? I didn't.
I mean, and also as well, the post credits. Could somebody just ask me a question?
Yeah. What on earth is that? It's an owl bear. I really enjoyed that as well. If I didn't...
Also, the next...
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if I didn't only get one a year, I might have gone full Fallout on this, but I need to reserve it.
Yeah, you need to save that.
For Mission Impossible.
I'm going to watch the Fallout trailer again there.
It just, I don't know, Sophia Lillis maybe play a bigger part next time as well. Like, pair her up with Justice Smith, have them, like, do some adventuring or something. That would be good. But, yeah, Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, the on-screen friend couple I never knew I needed.
Yeah.
Definitely not shit. Strong. Yeah, definitely not shit. Strong. I just realised I haven't done any of the polls for this show.
Fucking idiot.
So, Dungeons and Dragons are Honor Amongst Thieves. Definitely not shit. 80%. Touching Cloth, 20%. Murder Mystery 2, definitely not shit, 56%. Touching Cloth, 0. Shit, 33. And Geostorm, 11. Fair enough on that one, actually.
Sure.
And Tetris, definitely not shit, 50%. Shit, 17%. And Geostorm, 33%.
I can understand Geostorm for that.
I can as well. We do have some questions.
Are you not going to ask me what my rating is on Dungeons and Dragons?
I think we all know.
It's not the point, is it?
What's your rating?
Definitely not shit.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I am going to go see it again tomorrow. I've decided.
Good.
It is decided.
Nice.
Rick Kidd says, with the Easter bank holidays coming up, it's usually a time for TV channels to trot out the old classic cinema epics. What are your favourite classic epic films, if any?
On a bank holiday Monday, any fucking Bond film.
Well, again, I always used to do like fantasy shit on bank holidays if I was watching stuff at home, so it would have been probably like Labyrinth.
Good call.
Don't really have any like epics like that. My epics are all things like fucking Scarface and Day Hunter and shit like that.
I mean, you think like Jurassic Park would count?
But I've seen Jurassic Park enough times that I never need to see it again. Maybe the original 3 indie films.
Yeah, they're great bank holiday movies.
Yeah, or the Mummy, the Mummy films.
Yeah. So adventure shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adventure shit.
Adventure shit. Star Wars are always good bank holiday movies as well.
No.
Oh, I might rewatch all the Star Wars movies.
That's fine.
Night.
You can do that.
I watched 4, 5 and 6. Donna and I watched 4, 5 and 6 over Easter a few years back. That was fun.
The prequels?
4, 5 and 6.
So the original.
The newer ones?
The original ones.
The original ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Episodes 4, 5 and 6.
Right. Okay.
We've got a question from Andrew Load of Numbers saying, morning, love the show, one of my most consistent entertaining podcasts. Thank you very much for that. My question is Tarantino right in his theory that directors get worse as they age and doing the right thing stepping away from directing? Personally, I'd be gutted if he quits. No, I don't agree with him. I also think Tarantino is cheating, and I think he knows he's cheating.
I think he'll find a way to continue to work.
He will.
Yeah.
He's saying this will be the last Quentin Tarantino film. I think he'll do something. He'll remake something.
He won't count it as a Quentin Tarantino movie if he directs something someone else has written either. Yeah. He could collab. He could write something for someone else.
I don't think he'll do that.
No, because he doesn't. didn't like it with What's It, did he? True Romance.
No, he doesn't. He accepts the fact that True Romance, he'd have made True Romance different and has stuck to the original script, but agrees that Tony Scott's version of True Romance is better than a version he would have made. He hated Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't like True Romance. He didn't like the process of True Romance, though, did he? I think he...
True Romance basically, Sound Romance and Dustle Dawn paid for him to be able to make Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I reckon he'll cheat.
Yeah.
For sure. But, I don't know, I think there's probably a plateau. I think there is a little bit of a case of you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. There is a bit of that. I mean, look at your what's his face, Clint Eastwood. He's a bit of a problematic dickhead nowadays.
But was he always a bit problematic? I think there's an element of you've either got to move along with the times and adapt. This goes for any, I think, walk of life. A bit. You've either got to adapt to the changes that are happening. Because if you rail against them, what's the point? So if you're a filmmaker from, let's say, you're putting something up against, for instance, Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola are two great examples. Two heralded new directors in the 70s, and Coppola was top of the fucking world. And he's got a new movie coming out this year, his first in a long time, but the guy hasn't made a good movie in 30 years. Whereas Scorsese, their peers, they're around the same age, has been consistently, you could argue that his output of the past decade is as strong at any point during his career.
But he's a film buff, though, isn't he? So he will see the new stuff that comes out. He will see the changing trends. He seems like the kind of guy that probably kind of keeps his finger on the pulse a bit as to trends, social issues, etc., and advances in technology. He seems like he wants to stay with it in bunny ears. Whereas I think the further away you get from your formative years, the harder it is to do that.
Yeah.
He's making a conscious effort.
Yeah,
This-
that's fair.
This is the thing. I wish that Tarantino hadn't been so public in going this is my limit, and instead just went on until he was I genuinely don't think I can make a film as good as... I don't know, it's almost like he's given himself a bit of a psychological out here, where he's just right, I'll do this 10, 11, and then done. And then I don't necessarily... if I contribute anything elsewhere and then people don't like it, well, I've already said that I don't think I'll be able to do any good work past this point anyway, so I've almost insulated myself from having that kind of criticism.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was more 10 years down the line, he just says, I'm retiring because I genuinely just don't think I have it anymore. It's by doing this, he doesn't have to say that.
That's it. It will be a shame, but there is an element of... I mean, maybe he just...
Maybe he wants to enjoy his immense wealth in his advanced years, and he doesn't want to have to make films anymore.
There's
definitely an element of that. I do think he's fibbing. I think he's fibbing.
What do you mean?
I think he's fibbing. I think he's lying.
About what?
About the fact that this will be his last movie. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be... Who thinks that he won't, in 5 or 6 years' time, do Kill Bill 3 and go...
Oh, but that don't count because it's a sequel.
Don't count because it's all part of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, 1 and 2 are really just one.
Because that's the thing. Because if you didn't say that, his 10th film would have been Once Upon a Time. Which, to be fair, would have been a beautiful film to end a career on.
But then, you're saying there is an element of... I don't think he ever wants to make a film that he doesn't think is better than his last one.
He's going to struggle.
Yeah. He's going to struggle.
That's the thing. I'm going to make 10 just, I don't know, that feels like such a silly
arbitrary
round number to put on it, and just like, you know, just say when you're like, I don't think I've got it anymore. I think we got some up and comers who are doing some fantastic shit. I'm looking forward to watching them, and, you know, like, if I'm gonna put out some stuff on film criticism, and these are my opinions and whatnot. And also, I'll be honest, guys. I mean, like, I kind of feel like Tarantino in 10 years is gonna make some shit that the society is gonna think is cancelable. Like, I feel like that could be coming in the post for Tarantino if he does keep on.
Yeah, I do
you know,
feel
like there's
that in him.
it's just like there's gonna be some sort of misunderstanding of society, or like not reading the room. And, you know, I'm not gonna say it's ever gonna go to like Alan or Polanski kind of like territory, but I feel like at some point he is gonna make, like, if he kept on going, he will make something that people are gonna be like, fuck off.
Yeah, there's an element of, I think with Tarantino, there's a bit of, I think he wants to go out on top.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, one of Tarantino's like directing heroes. That he doesn't talk about that all that often, because he talks about a lot of his influences and bits like that. But one of his filmmaking heroes is Walter Hill.
Oh god, yeah, he just keeps going.
And Hill keeps going. I haven't watched Dead for a Dollar yet, but apparently Dead for a Dollar is actually quite good. But even I will admit, Hill's made some just like, well, that's just quite generic in the past like 2 decades.
Just back to Tarantino for a second.
Yeah.
So his 10 includes Death Proof.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he counts that.
Well, he counts Death Proof as a movie that exists in the Tarantino universe. So Death Proof is a movie that characters within the Tarantino universe will go and see.
But I'm surprised he counts it as part of his 10.
I don't think he'll get away with not.
Well, it's a collaborative project with Rodriguez.
But Death Proof is also a physical copy that you can buy of just that movie.
I mean, Death Proof is its own thing. But then again, Volume 2 is its own thing as well. Yeah. So...
yeah, he's cheating. He's cheated already.
That's what I mean. The fact that he's cheating to keep himself a bit of room to make another movie, I'm surprised. It wouldn't surprise me if he came out in a few years and went, well, Death Proof doesn't really count, so I'm just going to release this last one.
Yeah. He's got wiggle room in there.
Yeah. He's built himself something.
Yeah. That was it for questions we had.
Cool.
Good discussion. Okay, so let's go off because Mark needs to take a nap. He's night working, like, for context. Okay, next week
He's not just
we got some good stuff. Yeah, exactly. We got some good shit coming next week as well. So Ben Affleck is back in the directing chair for the creation of the Air Jordan. Apparently it's good. Air. Mark and I will be watching the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yep.
Which I am incredibly excited for. I'm not joking. I am so pumped. We are seeing it on Good Friday. There's 7 of us going. We're going to go to Pizza Express beforehand. We're going to have a fucking time. I can't wait. And Russell Crowe is back.
I am fucking pumped.
And he's the Pope's exorcist.
That's what you're most pumped for, isn't it, Max?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
He's the Pope. Why? Yeah, of course Russell Crowe's the Pope's exorcist. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fantastic time. So right, we'll get off so Grandpa Foster can have his nap. Thank you very much, Becky.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Ian.
And thank you very much, listeners. Have a very pleasant rest of the day.
Bye.
Good time.